In a 3-2 vote, the Georgia State Election Board on Friday ruled that counties must hand count ballots. Poll workers will be required to open ballot boxes and count the number of ballots inside at the end of Election Day. The tally will be compared to and should match the scanner recap forms. Supporters say oversight that is fair and reasonable is needed. Critics, of course, complain it will delay results and facilitate confusion. Breitbart News reported that in July, both Democrats and Republicans in Georgia urged the election board to ditch electronic voting machines and replace them with paper ballots after several counties experienced voting machine glitches during the 2020 presidential election.
I want you to listen to Representative Harriet Hageman at a House subcommittee hearing on non-citizen voting. She's questioning Cleta Mitchell, the head of the Foundation for Accountability and Integrity in Elections. Here it is.
Then is it your understanding that they are actually implementing the very plans that they refuse to turn over to Congress?
They're absolutely doing that, and we only know, we get bits and snatches from people, from whistleblowers and from various sources, but nothing official.
Joanne, they're talking about the Biden-Harris administration Executive Order 14019, which utilizes taxpayer funds to facilitate the registration and voting access for non-citizens. Do you think Americans should be concerned about the impact that unconstitutional scheme will have in this election?
I do. There's such a rampant spirit of lawlessness that we've had unleashed on our country through leftist policies. Look, there's not one thing that they won't do to keep the presidency away from Donald Trump. They are on the march, and they will do everything. Now, we have asked some Texas congressmen to look into this and see if they can find documented evidence of this. For example, I think there was a U.S. Marshal whistleblower. We've asked them to look into that.
Good. Let us know what response you get from that. Now, a lot of eyes are on the state of Georgia. The state election board ruled Friday that counties must hand count ballots. How do you think that will affect the integrity of the elections in the Peachtree State?
Look, I think any time that you have hand counts to verify what the machines are showing, look, other countries around the world don't use the voting machines. They use hand counting. I believe France is one of them. If France can hand count votes, I think the United States of America can do that. I'm glad to see Georgia stepping out and doing this. It's very important. Now, look, it's a change because everybody went after the machines, but the ease of voting at a machine has damaged the ability to audit election results. If you cannot audit the results of an election, you can't be sure of it.
Now, finally, EPA Chief of Staff Mandy Gunasekera has called out Democrat Congressman Jamie Raskin for blatantly lying about Project 25 and Donald Trump. Here it is.
Ranking Member Raskin, you reiterated and have created a boogeyman that just isn't there. I did author the EPA chapter on Project 2025, but in the course of that, I did not work with President Trump, with any of the people who work for him directly or his campaign.
Okay, to that point, Project 25 was authored by the Heritage Foundation, not the former president. Or is there some kind of secret anti-American cabal, as liberal Democrats would have us believe, voters, and want voters to believe that this group is?
Oh, look, the Heritage Foundation has been working on projects and plans for a new conservative administration since 1981. There's nothing frightening about this. If you want government smaller, if you want the bureaucracy contained, and if you want local government and parents empowered in education, there's nothing frightening about Project 2025 or the Heritage Foundation.
All right, Joanne, thank you so much for clearing that up. We'll bring you back in just a moment.
Greg, the Arizona Supreme Court unanimously ruled Friday that nearly 98,000 people whose citizenship status was not verified will be allowed to cast ballots in state and local races. It's according to Breitbart News. And the landmark ruling could influence ballot measures and tight legislative races, especially since Arizona is unique because citizenship status is required to vote in local and state elections. The decision came after a database error was uncovered that had designated the voters as having full ballot access for over 2 decades when their citizenship status was not verified. Breitbart reported the state Supreme Court, which leans Republican, found that Maricopa County lacked the authority to change the voter status since they had attested under penalty of law that they were citizens. Voters were already allowed to cast ballots in federal races, including for a president, despite how the court ruled. Greg, this was probably not quite what he intended to say on Saturday during a campaign event in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, but Democrat vice presidential nominee Tim Walz called a spade a spade. Take a listen.
Look, Kamala Harris made it clear. These guys want to instill fear. They want to tell you that just get over it. It's a fact of life. This is the way it is. She simply has said it doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be this way. We can't afford 4 more years of this.
Can't afford 4 more years of this. Some conservatives reacted to the comment as an inadvertent attack on the Biden-Harris administration.